Now, as if this stuff isn't inane enough, the media partisanship, along with the cancel culture where the Liberal left seem intent on silencing any opposing views, well, it's played out in another ugly way in the United States. Influential Conservative commentator Tucker Carlson has gone public now about how the Liberal left New York Times newspaper has targeted him.
2 years ago, a left-wing journalist publicized our home address in Washington. A group of screaming Antifa lunatics showed up while I was at work. They vandalized our home. They threatened my wife. She called 911 while hiding in a closet. A few weeks later, they showed up again at our house. For the next year, they sent letters to our home threatening to kill us. We tried to ignore it. It felt cowardly to sell our home and leave. We'd raised our kids there in the neighborhood, and we loved it. But in the end, that's what we did. We have 4 children. It just wasn't worth it. But the New York Times followed us. The paper has assigned a political activist called Murray Carpenter to write a story about where we are now. They've hired a photographer called Tristan Spinsky to take pictures. Their story about where we live is slated to run in the paper this week. Editors there know exactly what will happen to my family when it does run. I called them today and I told them, but they didn't care. They hate my politics. They want this show off the air. If one of my children gets hurt because of a story they wrote, they won't consider it collateral damage. They know it's the whole point of the exercise, to inflict pain on our family, to terrorize us, to control what we say.
Obviously, this stuff is dangerous, it's anti-democratic and it's threatening, but it's not a one-off, it's not so unusual, and it happens here. Go onto Twitter any day in this country and you'll find people openly hoping or urging for horrible things to happen to the hosts you watch on this station, or newspaper columnists or right-of-centre politicians. The odious intimidation of the left, trying to shut down and silence opposing views, is only getting worse day in and day out. And I'm starting to think the only way to counter it now is to continue to expose it. And just for completeness, the New York Times has now tweeted that it doesn't plan to publish Carlson's residence and that he was told this before his broadcast. We're left to wonder what they were planning, and we will wait to see what they do publish.